Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of my English learning podcast. I'm happy to have you here with me again. Today, we're going to talk about something that almost every English learner struggles with. How to speak without too many pauses. Well, have you ever started speaking and suddenly your mind goes blank? You know what you want to say, but when it's time to speak, your brain just stops. You feel nervous, you pause, and you lose confidence. Don't worry, my friend, you're not alone. I used to be like that too. When I was learning English, I would start a sentence, then freeze in the middle, and sometimes I would even pretend to cough just to cover the silence. Ha 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 ha. But guess what? Over time, I learned how to fix it. So today, I'm going to share simple, practical ways to help you speak English more smoothly and with fewer pauses. Remember, speaking without pausing too much doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It's about having rhythm, confidence, and trust in your own voice. Let's begin with the most important idea. You don't need to speak perfect English. Many learners pause because they are trying to speak perfectly. They want every word to be correct before they even open their mouth. But that only makes speaking harder. I used to do this too. I would plan the whole sentence in my head, check the grammar, and think too much. By the time I was ready to speak, the moment was already gone. Trying to be perfect is like waiting for all the stones to appear in a river before you cross it. You'll wait forever. But if you take the first step, even if it's small or shaky, you'll find your balance and keep going. So don't wait for the perfect sentence. Just start speaking. The more you speak, the better you will get. People don't care if your English is perfect. They care if they understand you. So aim for progress, not perfection. Even if your sentence is not perfect, say it. For example, if you say, "I go store yesterday," it's not grammatically correct, but the listener will still understand what you mean. And that's a big win. Now, let's talk about another useful trick, using natural fillers. Fillers are small words like well, so, you know, actually, and I mean. These little words help you keep speaking while you think of what to say next. Even native speakers use them all the time. For example, you can say, "Well, I think the main reason is," or, "I never thought about it like that." These fillers act like small bridges between your ideas. They help your speech sound natural, not robotic. But be careful not to use too many. Think of fillers like salt. A little makes your speech tasty, but too much can ruin it. Once you start feeling comfortable with fillers, we can move to another important skill. Stop translating in your head. Many learners pause a lot because they think first in their native language and then translate every word into English. I used to do that too. I would make the whole sentence in my language, then try to change it into English word by word. It took time and made me sound unnatural. Let me give you an example. Thinking in your own language and translating to English is like trying to use phone apps that don't match your device. They might work, but slowly and awkwardly. So, what should you do instead? You should train your brain to think in English directly. Try to connect ideas and pictures with English words. For example, when you see a cup of tea, don't think chai or your local word first, just think tea. You can practice this by describing things around you in English as you go about your day. Say things like, "The sky is blue," "I'm brushing my teeth," "That dog is cute." It might sound simple, but it builds a strong habit in your mind. This helps you speak faster and without long pauses because your brain starts working in English automatically. Okay, so we've talked about thinking in English. But sometimes the reason we pause is not because we're nervous or translating. It's because we don't know the right words. So the next step is to build your useful vocabulary. You don't need to learn every word in the dictionary. You just need to know the words that you use most often. For example, if you talk a lot about your work, hobbies, or school, then learn the words connected to those topics. That's called functional vocabulary. It's vocabulary that is useful for your daily life. Here's a small exercise. Write down 10 or 15 topics you often talk about, like food, travel, work, family, friends, or movies. Then learn words and phrases about those things. It's like making your own small toolbox. You don't need every tool, only the ones that help you build what you need. Once you know those words, don't just keep them in your head. Use them. The more you use new words, the faster you'll remember them. One simple way to do that is by thinking out loud. I still do this every morning. I talk to myself in English. I say things like, "I'm making coffee now." "I need to check my emails." Or, "Oh no, I'm late again." Ha 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 ha. It might sound funny, but it really helps. You're practicing without any pressure, and no one is judging you. When you think out loud, you improve your sentence structure, pronunciation, and rhythm, all at the same time. And if you want to improve even faster, you can record your voice. Listen to it later, and you'll notice small mistakes and areas where you can do better. It's like giving feedback to yourself. Another great practice is called shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a short audio or video and repeating what the speaker says at the same time. Try to copy the speaker's tone, speed, and voice rhythm. It helps your brain, mouth, and ears work together like a team. At first, it might feel difficult, but don't worry. Even doing it for 30 seconds a day can make a big difference. You'll start to sound more natural and confident. Shadowing helps you remember sentence patterns and pronunciation without memorizing boring grammar rules. When I first tried shadowing, I used to copy short movie trailers and podcast intros. I couldn't keep up at first, but after a few days, I noticed big improvement. My speaking became smoother, and I didn't pause as much as before. Now, let's talk about something very simple but very important. Breathing. Yes, breathing. Many people think speaking fast makes them sound fluent, but that's not true. When you speak too fast, you don't give your brain enough time to think, and you end up making more pauses and mistakes. When I was learning English, I thought, if I speak faster, people will think I'm fluent. But that was wrong. I often ran out of breath and got stuck in the middle of sentences. The key is to slow down. Take a deep breath before you speak. Pause naturally. It's okay to stop for a second to think. It actually makes you sound more confident. There's a simple breathing trick you can try. The 4-7-8 method. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then exhale slowly for 8 seconds. This helps calm your nerves and gives you focus before speaking. Remember, fluency is not about speed. It's about flow. Speaking is like dancing. It's better to move with rhythm than to rush without balance. So now you know that breathing, slowing down, and thinking in English can make a huge difference when speaking. But there's one more thing that can help you become even more confident. Trusting yourself. Many learners stop speaking because they feel afraid of making mistakes. But mistakes are not a bad thing. They are part of learning. When a baby learns to walk, it falls many times, right? But it keeps trying until it walks perfectly. The same thing happens with speaking English. You have to fall, get up, and try again. That's how you learn. When I first started speaking English, I used to feel embarrassed when I said something wrong. I would worry about what others thought of me. But later, I realized something very important. People don't care as much as we think. Most of the time, people just listen to your message, not your grammar. They are happy that you are trying to speak their language. So the next time you make a mistake, smile and keep going. Don't stop. Don't apologize for every small error. Just keep talking. The more you practice, the fewer mistakes you'll make. And one day, you'll look back and realize how much you've improved. Another small but powerful trick is to use pauses wisely. You see, not all pauses are bad. Some pauses can actually make you sound calm and confident. Professional speakers use pauses to give their listeners time to understand what they're saying. So if you ever forget a word or need time to think, take a short pause and smile. It's much better than saying or too often. Let me give you a small exercise. Try reading a short paragraph out loud, and every time you feel nervous, take a small pause. Breathe, relax, and then continue. You'll notice that your voice becomes clearer and stronger. Now let's talk about rhythm and tone. When you speak English, it's not just about the words, it's also about how you say them. English has a natural rhythm, like music. If you speak with the right rhythm, you will sound more fluent, even if your grammar isn't perfect. To improve your rhythm, try to listen carefully to how native speakers talk. Pay attention to the rise and fall of their voice, their pauses, and how they connect words. Then try to copy it. You don't have to sound exactly like them, but this practice will help you sound smoother and more natural. You can also try this simple rhythm exercise. Pick a short sentence like, "I want to learn English." Then say it with different tones: happy, serious, slow, fast. This helps you become comfortable with your own voice and teaches your mouth how to move naturally in English. Now, here's something that many learners forget. Your body language also affects your speech. When you stand or sit straight, breathe deeply and smile. Your voice sounds more confident. But when you look down or feel tense, your voice becomes weak and your mind gets blocked. Before speaking in English, take a second to adjust your posture. Roll your shoulders back, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that it's okay to make mistakes. Believe it or not, your body helps your mind relax, and your words will flow more easily. All right, let's move to another helpful practice. Listening more. Speaking well comes from listening well. The more you listen to English, the more your brain learns the sound, rhythm, and structure of the language. You'll naturally start to use those patterns when you speak. So, listen to English every day. Podcasts, YouTube videos, movies, or songs. Even if you don't understand everything, keep listening. Your brain is learning in the background. Here's a fun tip. Choose a short video or podcast and listen to it many times. Try to repeat what you hear. At first, do it slowly, then a bit faster. And then try to say it without looking at the text. This is one of the fastest ways to improve your fluency and stop pausing too much. Now let's talk about something that can really change your English. Confidence through practice. You can't learn to speak by only reading books. You have to speak. The more you speak, the easier it becomes. So find small chances to speak every day. You don't need to wait for a classroom or a partner. Talk to yourself. Talk to your phone. Or even talk to your mirror. Tell yourself what you did today, or what you plan to do tomorrow. For example, today I went to the market. I met my friend. We had coffee. It was a good day. These small daily talks build real confidence. If you can, join online English groups or communities where people talk together. Don't be shy. Remember, everyone there is learning just like you. When you practice with others, you'll not only improve your speaking, but also learn new words and ideas. Sometimes people ask me, how long will it take to become fluent? My answer is always the same. Fluency is not a destination, it's a habit. You don't wake up one day and suddenly become fluent. You become fluent little by little, every time you practice. Think of it like exercising. If you go to the gym one day, nothing changes. But if you go every day, you get stronger. English is the same. You need daily practice, not perfection. Let's do a quick recap of what we learned today. Number 1. Don't try to be perfect. Speak even if it's not perfect. Number 2. Use natural fillers like well or you know to keep the flow. Number 3. Stop translating in your head. Think in English directly. Number 4. Build your useful vocabulary and use it in daily life. Number 5. Think out loud or record yourself to get better. Number 6. Try shadowing to improve pronunciation and rhythm. Number 7. Breathe properly and speak slowly. Number 8. Use pauses and body language to sound confident. Number 9. Listen more to improve your natural flow. And finally, number 10. Practice every day, even for a few minutes. If you follow these simple tips, you'll notice big changes in your speaking. You'll stop overthinking. Your sentences will sound smoother, and you'll feel more confident every time you open your mouth to speak English. Before we end, let me give you one last piece of advice. When you speak English, don't focus on sounding like a native speaker. Focus on sounding like your best self, clear, confident, and natural. Everyone has their own accent and style, and that's what makes you unique. Your goal should not be perfection, but connection. If people can understand you and you can express your thoughts clearly, that's success. And remember, learning English is not just about language, it's also about courage. Every time you speak, you are doing something brave. You are learning to express your heart and your mind in another language. That's something to be proud of. So my friend, next time you talk in English, don't worry about pauses. Don't worry about grammar. Just breathe, smile, and speak. Your English will grow stronger every single day. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I hope today's episode gave you useful tips and new motivation to keep improving. If you enjoyed this talk, make sure to practice what you learned today. Remember, speak more, pause less, and trust your voice. Alright, that's all for today's episode. Keep learning, keep speaking, and never stop believing in yourself. You're doing great, and I'm proud of you. Take care and see you in the next episode.